Hello, everybody. This is Frogman. Welcome back to Levitated. Last episode, we did quite a few things about getting some of our little random stuff around here going on, and I stated we were going to be doing a couple of things in this episode, so we're going to handle those in just a little bit. I do need to remind myself that I need to at least make one more of these really quickly before we get into that next little thing. So we've made a few changes. There's been a couple of things added, and a couple of machines, or at least one machine I have constructed so that we can get along a little bit further on down the line in this mod pack. So let's see. We need to make us another trial key really quickly because we need to be able to do some other things. Thank you. I guess I could make more than one, but we'll just leave that alone for right now. Let's go downstairs and take a look at some of the other stuff that we have going on in here. As you may notice, there's a couple of extra things going on, and that's because I went ahead and made the simple alloy smelter and the simple sag mill because of the fact that I kind of got this little thought in my head that I wanted a little bit of nickel. Nickel ingots, nickel plates, nickel stuff like that. And the only way we're going to get nickel is if we sag mill the iron ore that we get currently so that we have that random chance of getting a nickel dust. So that's what we did for that there. And because of that, I went ahead and made these simple alloy smelters so that I could make some dark steel ingots as well as some of the, conduits, some of my favorite stuff. As always, if you guys haven't already known, except I can't spell, conduits, there we go, which requires a little bit of pulsating iron. Pulsating iron, of course, is an alloy smelter recipe in this mod pack of an ender pearl and iron ingots. So once you get to that point where that thing shows up, I guess there's no real reason not to. I mean, I'm using transfer nodes, transfer pipes in a few places for various things, but yeah, we didn't need them anymore, and it's kind of what that's going to do is allow us to get away from some of this other stuff that we're doing. So I did go ahead and replace a few things like that, and I went ahead and made a little bitty somewhat automated machine over here that is kind of an 8x8 system here where we're basically taking endstone and turning it into cobblestone with the occasional screw up just because, you know, it's running off of a timer and it doesn't like how certain things happen. But basically what that is I got to looking at trying to automate the pure daisy with Britannia, and it's totally completely doable. I've did it in a test world, but the problem is, again, is in order to be able to do this, the problem here, I guess I should say, is that in order to be able to do this with Britannia, you have to use a little bit of mana every time, and we still really don't have much of a way of making mana at this point. It's another one of those projects I need to get to. However, I have not really needed much, and matter of fact, I'm still working off of some of the experience that we got from the dragon. I just kind of come over here every once in a while and fill that elven mana spreader up and let it kind of drain off my experience a little bit because we really don't need it. So what this little guy is over here is a very, very simple thing. We have some mechanical users and some mechanical miners. It's about as simple as you can do. And inside the middle of that whole structure is a pure daisy. On the bottom, we have a bunch of item conduits or item ducts, and all those guys are doing is just delivering whatever I put into this chest into these mechanical users so that they can then place it above them. And then once everything gets done, we have a timer up here, which is a hovering hourglass with a stack exactly 64 pieces of sand in it. That basically what that has, if this is it's about the only timer we've got in this pack at this point, other than if I want to start screwing around with something from Integrated Dynamics. So every single piece of sand counts as a single second, and whenever that thing runs all of the sand down from one side of the hourglass to the other, it flips over and creates a redstone signal. Now, I have a lever on this top section up here where this top section basically is really cheap, cheesy. We just got a little bit of redstone up on top there, and when that thing flips over, it hits it and makes the mechanical users do it, or mechanical miners do what they need to do. So that was a pretty down and dirty way of doing that. I know it's probably not the coolest way to do it, but I needed a bunch of cobblestone. I got tired of making cobblestone. I got tired of hand mining cobblestone over there. So yeah, I kind of just gave up on that, went ahead and set that little system up. Now, the neat thing over here is one thing I did learn very interestingly about the Integrated Dynamics logic cable, especially some of this, is I know that there's energy interfaces or extractors up there that I have to program to tell them, hey, I need you to pull energy out of those dynamos and bring them down here into this battery. But on the energy interfaces for the outputs, all you got to do is just plug it in. You just hook the cables up into a power source and it just automatically delivers power to the machine. So that's pretty cool. I think the only thing I did in here was I changed the priority slightly over the other network over here because this mechanical squeezer uses quite a bit of power. So we're kind of good to go on that part. Plus, it's just the way things work. So let's kind of talk about a couple of things that we were going to do, and then we can go do that. Today, I was going to say that what I needed to do is I needed to start trying to automate Grains of Infinity. And then when I loaded the game up, I got one of them cute little, notification thingies down in the corner that says, by the way, Bedrock's not the only way you can get in, the Grains of Infinity. I'm like, oh, really? So let me look at this here. So grains, if I can spell. Once again, Grains of Infinity, information-wise, we all know how they get them, is you basically are supposed to either light bedrock on fire or you put, I don't know how much the actual fire water does, or you use this stuff, whatever this stuff is. Well, that's a compressed infinity dust block, and a compressed infinity dust block is just 9 infinity dust blocks, and a 9 infinity dust blocks is a whole bunch of Grains of Infinity. So guess what I made? A dust block. So we're going to go ahead and make this, and what's neat about a compressed infinity dust block, for one, they're kind of funky. I've been fooling with them in a test world for a little while. The fire goes out on these. After about, 30 or 45 seconds, the fire will go out on that block. Now, I'm not quite so certain as the odds are as good as the bedrock, but this block is here, not over there at the main island, wherever it is. And see, we got another one. The problem is did you read that little tooltip? Let's see if I can get this picked up without it doing something dumb. Maybe I can do that. Maybe I have to leave it alone for right now. Let me see. Can I get it to do it? Yeah, it did it. Cool. And I lost a bunch too, probably. So that basically what happens is if you're not too careful with them, they'll fall apart to the point that if you light them on fire too many times, they'll fall apart. But they'll kind of tend to give you a little bit extra when they fall apart. So sometimes it's a little bit extra, sometimes it's not a little bit extra, but we actually got an extra block right there, plus they fall apart. I'm pretty sure that's a little less than what we started with, and I knew that was going to kind of happen, but the funny part is I was testing this, and as you light them on fire, eventually it will fall apart no matter what you do. It'll fall apart, but it will fall apart, and it will give you a considerable amount more of the Grains of Infinity than what it took to make it, which was a little odd. So as far as automating these things, I'm going to be really very simple with them at this point, and I think the very simple point is we're going to do it really, really quickly. Actually, I need one more thing, and I need a bunch of iron and a bunch of things. So let's go ahead and knock that out really, really, really quickly, just as a kind of a way to have this working while we're doing things. I needed to make something that I didn't make while we were looking at it. Where did I put all of my string? There it is. Okay, and I got some sticks. Good. So let's pick this stuff all up. I need that, not this. Thank you. Give me that. A dispenser. Awesome. Cool. All right. That's what I needed. I knew I needed one more thing to clutter up my inventory so that we can do a few things. So we're going to build this kind of just in the way, annoyingly, and even then I need to make another piece of stuff, but we're going to build it probably right here for right now just to get an idea, because this is one of the things is when this dies, it's not going to need to be taken care of anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that, and then we're going to pick up a couple of things, and we're going to try to get I think I can do it like that. I want to do it like this just so that it's kind of compact, but we're going to take a dispenser and we're going to put it right there. That way the dispenser's facing down at the actual thing here so that we can see some stuff. All right, nice. The next thing we need to do is again. I need to go back inside and make a couple of things. But what we're going to do is we're just basically going to power this thing. It's going to light that on fire. We're going to wait for it to pop, and then we're going to either pick up the piece of stuff that's there and then automatically relight the fire, or do something else entirely. So let's go make 2 more little things that we need, or 3 more little things. One of which we need some more of these. And I said I was probably not going to be playing with these anymore, and I need to kind of move this stuff around and make it a little bit easier to find. But I kind of came up with another idea while I was fooling around with this, and I think I'm going to want those maybe. I need a redstone. Let's just do this the easy way. Integrated dynamics. I'm not a humongous fan of this mod again, but there's some things that we can do with it fairly easily. So we need a bit of redstone. Can I make 1 of those, 2 of those? Thank you. I need a world reader, or I should say, I forget what one's cheaper. Is it the block reader that's cheaper? Block reader, I think, is the one that's cheaper. We need some dirt. Thank you. 1, 2. Okay. And just for fun, extra utility screen. I don't want that. I want integrated dynamics. I want that thing, which is static light panel. We'll play with that later. Don't feel like trying to make something right now that we don't need. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to tell this thing a couple of things. We're going to look at this a couple of different directions to a point where I'm actually going to need to kind of clean some of this mess up, and I still screwed up. But what I want to do is I want to be able to read 2 different variables on this system, and I want to do it very easily. So I'm going to put a block reader right there, and I'm going to put a block reader right there. I'm going to take both of these redstone writers. I'm going to put one right there, and I'm going to put one right over here in front of this one. And I'm using 2 independent ones because we're going to need to be able to read 2 different variables. Let's start with the front one. The front one is basically going to ask us a silly little question. I need that. And I need a variable card. And this is where it gets kind of silly. I'm going to light this, and I want to see light level 15. Yes, thank you. And we'll do the same thing. We're not going to do light level 15. We're going to do something else. Now, because there's a light level 15 there right now, because of the fact that fire's burning, I don't want you to do anything. So we'll put you right there. Now, what that's going to do is this is going to be set false. Now, as soon as that goes, did you hear it click? It tried to light it, but it couldn't light it because I'm holding the flint and steel in my hand. So if I do that and toss this in there, that's going to go to work eventually. So let's grab a little bit more cable here. There's going to be something else we want to do. Where did that cable go? Did I need to make some more? Cable. There it is. Okay, there's the cable, and we had a couple of these variable cards. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is because of the fact this thing can break, see, there, it automatically lit, no problem. Because of the fact this thing can break occasionally, we're going to replace it now and then. So let's see if I can get down and put one of these down. Now, we're going to use this user as a place block or a block place kind of thing, and we want it to use the upper left-hand slot only, and we're going to fill all of these up. And for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually, no, I'm going to say go ahead and craft another block. What we're going to do is we're going to do something about like that. I don't think I have enough at this point. No. Okay, cool. So we're going to leave that alone. We're going to have that through a little bit of stuff. What I want to do is we're going to go and grab one more little toy while that's busy making a mess all over the place. And I knew I needed to make one more thing, and it's with this sucker. And one of those, I'm going to use this vacuum chest because this vacuum chest is going to be doing what I need it to do. So we need to make some pulsating nuggets and pulsating crystal, and a chest probably just needs to be crafted out of something. Do we have any chest capabilities? Yes, we do. Why are you not working? That was a trap chest. That's why that's not working. Inventory is a mess. Go. Thank you. We're going to use that to collect things for right now. See, did you make a mess? Yeah, there's one floating there already. Wonderful. Okay, now I'm going to use this to collect the stuff, obviously. So we don't need him to have a range of anything less than about 1. So he can just grab pretty much what's right here. And then we're going to, there it went, nice, cool. We're going to use 2 of these mechanical crafters right off the bat to kind of help our situation out. I think with that, I might be able to cheat this and put it over here. There we go. That might make it a little bit tighter, right? Yeah, okay, cool. Let's do this again. Upper left-hand slot only, generic click, place block. And what I want to do is with this one right here, we're going to basically take these 2 cool little crafters and we're going to have them auto craft them into the stuff that we need to have them auto crafting things into. So I'm going to go ahead and shut that range off. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to teach this thing a recipe. For now, it's automatically going to craft those up into, it's going to basically what these cool thing about these mechanical crafters is that they will pull from any inventory to the side or anything that they can reach without having any kind of pipes or anything like that. So it's just going to pull out of this inventory and it's going to wait. It's going to use this as its storage and it's going to wait for this to turn, basically become, get enough in here so that we can craft another one of these. So now we have all of these infinity dust blocks. The next thing I'm going to do is the exact same thing right here, since it has to be a compressed dust block right there. Now that compressed dust block, we're eventually going to put in this thing, and I'm going to have to do that, unfortunately, with one of these because I want to be able to control a certain amount of stuff. I don't want to do that. I know we can do that with this too. I just believe that once I start trying to transfer certain things, I need power to do it, and I don't want to be wasting RF on this silly little project. So we're going to use one of those. We're going to use... What did you do with it? Hello. Oh, there it is. Okay. We're going to use a transfer pipes, transfer filter kind of system. Transfer filter has an option for a single item only. And as far as I can tell right now, that's my earliest available single item only filter. So we're going to do that. Now, once that is done, or once that puts something out in the inventory, this thing can't pull anything out of it. Once it does that, once we get enough of this, it will put another one in here. So let me put all of these in there. It made one, and it put one in there. So we're going to always keep one in there. Now, here's the fun part about this little problem. When this decides to break, this is automatically going to place that one down. It's then going to cycle itself back through the system over here and eventually get recrafted back into another block or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10. So our current storage, there's going to be a stack of them right there where I'm just going to leave it right for now. This is going to be a down and dirty way of doing this until we can get to a different piece of technology, which is well ahead of where we are right now. For now, that's what we're going to do. So the last little bit of this problem is going to be telling this thing it has to relight after this block goes away. Because of the problem is when this tries to light, when this block goes away, it's going to try to light that block, or I should say this little section right here. There's not going to be anything for it to light, so it won't light it and it won't keep the cycle continuing unless we put another one of these over here. And we're going to read at this point in time, compressed block right here. What did I do with that stinking thing? Give me one of those. I want to read, is it true on here, or should say I need a variable aspect card there. We're looking at some white stuff here. I think I can put you in somewhere right there. How did I do this last time? Actually, no, I think I know what I did exactly. I didn't do that. I did the same stinking thing. Give me that back. Color. Light level. Is the light level 0 or is it whatever? I believe if I look at it correctly, we put that back in here. And if I remember false on this, it's going to detect when that block goes away and gets replaced, and it's going to go thunk and then light it again. So I've already kind of tested this out in a test world, and that's basically what's going to happen is this one is detecting when there's a light level of 15. If there's not, it's going to light it right there. This one is going to detect a light level of 15. There's a light level here. It can't see it. It's going to continuously cycle that around. That block is going to get placed I should say, it's going to disappear and then get replaced by another one. When it does that, any light level in that area is going to go from, I believe, whatever it would be back down to 0, because that's what that thing sees, and it's going to fire that again. So I'm assuming my logic is reasonably sensical at that point, but it does work, kinder. At least it was working in the test world a little bit ago. So let's cover that up. This is not the fastest way to do this. I understand. I just need something to kind of slowly produce stuff so that we can continuously try to keep some of this stuff going. So over time, this is going to produce a small amount of things for us. And the only way to make it any faster is to get more of these little systems going and having a whole bunch of things going on. The big problem with the bedrock is that bedrock will tend to, should say, like they said, in the end, you have to put the bedrock out, which means you have to light it, and then you have to wait 30 or so seconds or 40 seconds and touch it with something, which you can do with all the mechanical users you want in the world. I have to do that all over there, wherever the island's at. I think it's way over there, and I would rather have something right here to be able to kind of babysit for right now. So we're watching it. We're doing good. Even if this breaks, this thing should automatically be fixable, and all I have to do is come in here and fool with that. Now, I am on purpose, I want to say this right now, on purpose, using a dispenser over a mechanical user. The reason why I'm using a dispenser over a mechanical user is because any stray redstone signal that these guys might see or transmit between the two would cause a mechanical user to wear out this flint and steel prematurely. A dispenser, on the other hand, will only ever light a fire with a flint and steel if there is no fire underneath of it. It won't throw it. It won't do anything else. It'll only use this when there isn't a fire where I'm pointing it at. If there is a fire and I hit a redstone lever thingy on here, it sounds like it's doing things, but it's not. Pretty much the same spot. So we need to go ahead and craft a couple more of those really quickly and load that thing all the way up, and then we can go kill us some Endermens doing our little fun thingy. So let's see. I have 14. That'd make 7. That's plenty for right now. 7. I just need to make sure that's kind of full. Now, the other fun thing that we're going to do eventually, I think, with this is we're going to automate this little process with a little bit of Botania when the time comes, because of the fact that there is something that we don't have access to right now that I want. So we're going to do that. And you had to look at a stinking Enderman. Come here. I can't wait to build base. I cannot wait to build base. I might start working on base after this. That's ridiculous. Okay, let's fill up these guys. We'll put all these in here. It will also randomly use whatever's in here to light the fire, and it will make sure that everything functions reasonably well. So, cool. I will say that in order to get that much, I had to burn like 5 or 6 of those 5 or 6 of these just to get enough stuff to be able to make that 1 block or 2 blocks. So now we've got 2 blocks. Excellent. And we're making on that one, and good deal. So yeah, again, this is going to be a rather slow, boring process that's going to take quite a while to get done, but it should reasonably function well enough during the amount of time that we're out messing around to keep things reasonably decent for now. So cool. I'm going to put a few of these things away, and we are going to grab this key out of here and start working on the next fun thing. So put that away, put this away. We don't need it. We can put this away too, and that, and this, and that, and you can definitely come down here, and I will bring those, but I don't think I'm going to need it. So I did go ahead and, where is it at? I need my little thing, my simulator dude, whatever, the deep learner. There we go. All right, so eat potatoes, and let's look at the deep learner. Now, the deep learner, we're at a basic level at this point. So what happens with a basic level is when you take a deep learner and the amount of mobs, I should say, that you get to show up is going to be based on what this level of data model that you're going to be playing with over here. So because we're having a basic tier in here, we're getting basic tier trial keys. So if we come over here and we fight said trial Endermans, which shouldn't be too hard to do. I do need to make sure that the first one we kill. We need to make sure we kill him like that. So I will put this in my hand for right now. And then we're going to be swapping this out once we get to the first one. So let's do the cheese on how we do this, how I cheese these, because it's Enderman. Can I stand on it, please, without getting washed off? Thank you. Give me my thing. God dang it, give me my knife. Sword. Oh, hey, I got a zombie. Nice. Oh, I need that desperately, too. Come on. That's one. Okay, so the key's attuned. Good deal. Come here. Thank you. I really needed that. That just cheesed the heck out of something. Thank you very, very much. Let's just get this over with. Kill some Endermen. Now that should have also leveled our thing. We should have killed a few people. I've got one more Enderman to go, and this key is now tied to the deal. Now you don't necessarily have to hold that, as far as I remember, in your hand. I know that's cheesy. It's Enderman. You're going to give me one of the worst mobs to try to start out with this whole thing is Enderman. It's ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me right now? Oh my goodness, are you kidding me right now? Hello, phone. I know, it's awesome. That's great. So I have one more Enderman to kill before we get to that point. So let's just go ahead and level that up with one of these easy guys. And wank. All right, so now we're at advanced tier. So if I take this key is on a basic key now. We can fight one more easy one, and then when we align the next one up, we will end up with an advanced tier trial key, which means we will get different types of mobs to start spawning. Part of that was that loot little zombie man there. He's wonderful. He gave us a head, and he gave us some prismarine shards. That means I can kind of do something that I probably shouldn't be able to do right now. With a prismarine shard, I can turn that into nether quartz. And with nether quartz, I can double that. So, thank you. Thank you very much. That just skipped a whole lot of the game. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, we're gonna do that one more time. Actually, no, I need to go get another key. I want another key. We need to make one more key since we already set that one up. We're gonna do it one more time, and then we're gonna go ahead and end the episode because that wasn't too bad. Oh, that means I can add quartz on my sword. That means I can do all kinds of things. Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you very much. Yes, I should probably throw it away. I am not going to. Key. Key. Cool. Do it again. Nice. This is another thing, too, that as we go through some of these things, the extra mobs that are going to come up, you're going to kind of question, where in the heck am I supposed to get certain things from certain types of mobs? This is how we're going to get them, is by fighting Endermen in these general areas, or at least fighting these kinds of things. So now we're looking, that's a basic tier where we've got loot hoarders. We've got a few things. Now notice, I can't put the water down right now. If I put the water down right now, it says something is blocking the trial area. Something is blocking the trial area. Give me the water. I'm cheesing this because I don't need Endermen to try to eat me. So we're going to go ahead and do this again. Goodbye. And make sure it sets him. Good deal. He's set. Now, we need to put this in there. No, don't throw it. Put it in that hand so I can see what we're doing. Come here. Yeah, it makes it a little harder. I got to bounce over the top of the water and all that wonderful fun stuff. Cool. All right. So that means we got a whole bunch of pristine Enderman matter. Pristine Enderman matter basically going to be used to craft, probably for us, to end infused iron ore and possibly the infinity booster cards once we get to that point. So what I need to do now is that is an advanced one. This should be an advanced at power glitches. Okay, so we're going to start seeing glitches now. We're going to start seeing a few other things. So we're going to have to start working on maybe a little bit better materials and a little bit better stuff. But for now, what's very, very, very important is this. I can take that prismarine shard, get a piece of nether quartz, and you go, okay, well, that's nether quartz. Notice we're in the end. There is so much stuff that is tied in this pack to nether quartz. Nether quartz. Unfortunately, what's really killing me right now is, no, use, not use. That's going to get me observers for one, which, I mean, you're going to, okay, whatever. Well, observers is going to make that little system work even better. Maybe, or maybe I can just run over there and do the other thing. Come on, brain. Slow down. Silicon. Silicon is this, or this silly long process of silly stuff like this. So I just, yes, granted, now I'm really going to have to get this system working, but I have a source of silicon and nether quartz. Why do I care about silicon? Well, silicon is going to allow me to start into some of the other fun stuff. It's going to allow me to produce electrical steel. It's going to allow me to produce leadstone alloy ingots, which are going to allow me to do other little things like redstone alloy conduits and all of the wonderful fun things that are a lot easier. Plus, that is the beginning of this mess. I need 2 of those plus 1 of these plus a few other things. So that's totally worth having a fight with this. So I guess with that, we got some nether quartz. We got some fun stuff. We got a few things done. We got our infinity metal ingots, infinity metal. What am I saying? The infinity dust somewhat automated. I'm going to watch this. Trust me, after a while, that block will go away. If I took this out and jumped on that right now, it would poof, like it showed us earlier. So I kind of want to be able to maintain that. So the other thing is we've got that system over there. It's going to be making a whole lot of cobblestone for us. I need cobblestone because I don't want to build with this stuff if I don't have to. So we're going to be doing a lot of cobblestone, a lot of things like that. And then there's that tank that we will probably be fooling with in the next episode. So I will see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.